Hey everyone, in this lesson I'm going to break down a jazz waltz blues solo for you. This solo is great to check out if you're new to playing in 3/4 because we're just basically playing over 1/4/5 blues changes. It's quite similar to a piece called 3 for the Blues by Garland. It's also similar in ways to West Coast blues, only the harmony in West Coast blues is much simpler. I'd like you to try and learn this solo and compose your own solo using the phrases which you like. The trickiest thing probably in playing in 3/4 or 6/4 is making sure your lines still work through the changes. If you're playing in 4, then once you go to thinking in either 6 or 3, especially on the jazz blues, you do feel like you get longer on a chord. So you've really got to try and hear how those chords sound in this new time signature and adjust your phrases accordingly. The 3/4 jazz blues solo starts on the and of 2. So we're playing over the B flat 7 chord and we're starting on the and of beat 2. So it goes 1, 2. So it's kind of a long phrase and it's similar to the opening phrase of Wes Montgomery's solo on West Coast Blues, which is also a jazz blues in 3/4. So what we're doing here, we're starting on the tonic, going to the minor third, raising chromatically or rising chromatically, and then we've got this motif, which brings us to the D flat. Really is a clever way of getting to the 4 chord, using that note from the minor pentatonic scale to address that E flat 7 chord. And then that part that tags on afterwards, it's just trying to kind of emphasize the swing and get the blues feeling and the swing both going on this phrase. We then play over the 1 chord again and we have this riff. It's a kind of a classic bebop idea. So we're starting with the descending B flat triad, and then we've got the A flat, and then resolving to the 6 of the chord. Yeah, bebop players use that kind of thing all the time. Following that, we're not playing over a 2/5 as such, but this line has almost got a hint of playing into the 4 chord. And I'll play it first just so you can hear it. Okay, so we're starting with an E flat tetrachord. 1, 2, 3, 5, and then we're doing a chromatic enclosure of the 3rd of the B flat 7 chord, which takes us into the 4 chord in our 12-bar blues. Once we go to the 4 chord, we have this phrase, which is basically a little motif there. We're starting on the 5th, and then we've got more of a melodic, simpler phrase, which is still based off that B flat triad, even though we're playing over an E flat 7 chord. It still works just fine in my opinion. The solo then builds up at this point, so over B flat, I've now got this kind of sweep motion going on. Okay, so at this point I'm actually thinking of F melodic minor, and I'm just thinking of like an F minor 9 arpeggio there. So it's not really melodic minor because I'm not using the E natural, but sometimes I do when I'm using that. But in this particular occasion I don't think I hit the E natural, and I just go from the triad to the 9th. I do that twice, then I move up to this next arpeggio, and this is an A flat major 7 arpeggio, which works just fine over a B flat 7 chord. Okay, so I've got 2 of the first arpeggio, then 2 of the next arpeggio, and then I keep that going, and at this point I just play it off a B flat chord formation, almost like, so that would be like a root 3, 5, 9. Okay, but I'm starting at that from a semitone below. I've then got this chromatic phrase, in which I like to play into the 9th of the 5 chord, and then I've just got kind of this blue train-esque phrase, and then more of a down-home blues phrase to finish the solo off like so. So that is all the phrases broken down. That concludes this lesson. The PDF is available via the link below. I would say that if there's any phrases that are constantly hanging you up, most likely the sweep phrases, then compose your own phrases in those parts rather than spend too much time getting lost in those. I was debating whether or not I should include those, but I think they sound cool, and if you can get some of them or work towards achieving that, then it's a very saxophone-like technique to get into your improvisation.